Hey, come see us on tour. I'll be in Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Here is the former CDC director, Redfield, talking about bird flu. Listen to this.
I'm obviously most worried about bird flu. Right now, it takes 5 amino acid change for it to be effectively infecting humans. That's a pretty heavy species barrier. But this virus is already now in 26 mammal species, as you saw most recently, cattle. But in the laboratory, I could make it highly infectious for humans in months, because it's been published, the 5 amino acids that I need to change. And so I don't think that research should be done. That's the real threat. That's the real biosecurity threat, that these university labs are doing these bio experiments that are intentionally modifying viruses. And bird flu, I think, is going to be the cause of the great pandemic, where they are teaching these viruses how to be more infectious for humans.
So he's saying, for this to happen naturally, for a bird flu to jump to humans, it's hard. Probably wouldn't happen. But if you do it in a lab, you could do it in a matter of months. And he said that's the former CDC director, Redfield, saying that kind of research shouldn't be going on. Hey, guess what? It is going on. USDA and China CCP lab are creating deadly bird flu viruses as part of a $1 million collaboration, and you're paying for it. That's from April 24th of this year, or April 17th of this year. Here's U.S. bankrolling creation of deadlier, more contagious bird flu strains. This gain of function, Barack Obama stopped this gain of function. And it was Dr. Fauci who then went around Barack Obama stopping it using the EcoHealth, which is a CIA cutout. Why does the CIA want to fund virus gain of function? Oh, because maybe it's a bioweapon? So there's the former head of the CDC saying we shouldn't be doing this. Why? And by the way, why isn't this the headline in every newspaper? Why isn't every corporate news monkey screaming this? Now we need to stop this. Oh, that's right. Because they're employed by the people who are going to make a vaccine for this. So here he is to scare the hell out of you about it.
I remember you told Chris not long ago that the bird flu could make COVID look like a little pandemic, which was quite alarming. I mean, is that really the case?
Yes, Brian, I really do think it's very likely that we will at some time, it's not a question of if, it's more of a question of when, we will have a bird flu pandemic.
So if you listen to the first clip I just played, he said that's going to come from a lab. So again, why isn't he also screaming? Why could you imagine being this reserved and speaking in such dulcet tones about criminal activity of mad scientists and maniac psychopaths that are funding a virus that can currently not infect humans but will, and now he knows it's going to happen and it's going to be a pandemic, and wait till they tell you how many people are going to die from this. You want to see this? Watch.
And as you mentioned, unfortunately, bird flu has, when it does enter humans, has a significant mortality, probably somewhere between 25 and 50% mortality.
So here's a guy talking in hushed tones, in a vocal fry voice. You know, it's probably between 25 and 50% mortality. Now, I'm not a math surgeon, but I'm pretty sure that means that 1 out of every 2 people who get bird flu will die. Is that what he's saying? Is that what 25 to 50% mortality means? I think that's what that means. And he's not screaming about it? The former CDC director? He's talking about it like this. It'll probably kill half the people. Yeah, anyway, I'm late for a nap. I need some more milk. He's not screaming about it. Why? And he's not saying, I told you, I warned everybody, stop doing this gain of function. I told everybody, this is mad scientists. This is mad science, and we should stop this. We're doing this to ourselves. He's just kind of talking like this about it. Like, it's not a big deal, you know. Yeah, it's a bad thing, yeah. It's super bad. Now, there's one of two things happening there. Either he's completely detached from his emotions, completely, or he's hyping this for some reason. He's being told to hype it. You tell me. Can you imagine if you had that kind of knowledge that the science community that you're a part of is creating a virus that's going to kill 1 out of every 2 people that it infects, and you are sure it's going to be a pandemic, and you're not more animated? So either he's completely dead inside, or he's on Thorazine. There's 3 possibilities. He's completely dead inside, he's on Thorazine, or he's hyping this for another reason. What do you think? Let me know. There's a little bit more.
It's going to be quite complicated. Once the virus gains the ability to attach to the human receptor and then go human to human, that's when you're going to have the pandemic. And as I said, I think it's just a matter of time.
I remember you told Chris
It's just a matter of time. Now, I don't have the full clip. I wonder if it's a matter of time because we're doing this, like you said in this first clip, because we're the ones doing this. This guy's the top of his field. He got COVID right from day one. It's one of the guys Joe Rogan brought on. Then we brought him on this show. He got it right from day one. They called him an anti-vax kook. Leading guy in his field. So here's what he has to say about bird flu.
I mean, one of my patients told me for sure that they're coming on farms with hazmat suits, doing mass PCR testing of healthy animals. All that's going to do is raise a false case count and create orders for mass culling.
So let me ask you this, doctor. What do you think's going on? Because it's right before an election. They're trying to pass a UN treaty. They're hyping it. They want people to wear hazmat gear. It looks like a rerun of 4 years ago to me.
I would predict we're so ready for this, Alex. We know that iodine, nasal sprays, and gargles work fine. Wellness company, we expanded our contagion kit.
He says, it sounds to me like he says, don't freak out.
We know that iodine, nasal sprays, and gargles work fine.
Iodine, nasal sprays, and gargles work fine? How come nobody talks about this? Mm-hmm. Oh, I know why. Because they've got a vaccine for you. He's saying iodine, nasal sprays, and gargles work fine. I think he said the same thing about COVID, but you never get to hear that.
Wellness company, we expanded our contagion kit. We know that Tamiflu and hydroxychloroquine work fine, started early.
Hydroxychloroquine, he says, would work well and Tamiflu would work well for bird flu. Now, I'm pretty sure hydroxychloroquine is off patent, just like ivermectin was off patent, which is why they had to make everyone think it was poisonous and only a horse dewormer instead of a Nobel Prize winning human medicine that's on the WHO list of essential medicines. So I'm getting a little bit of a different story from McCullough. That's his name, right?
Yes.
Getting a little bit of a different story from him.
So we have this so well covered in humans, we shouldn't lose a single human with this. I don't think there's going to be...
We shouldn't lose a single human. Now, Redfield just told me that 1 out of 2 people who get it are going to die. He's saying we shouldn't lose a single human. What do you make of that? You think Redfield is still working for the man and hyping this? He certainly isn't screaming about the research that's going to cause this to happen.
a threat to mankind. I think this is a giant threat to the food supply because the response is this elective mass destruction of livestock. What I think should happen is I think we should get...
So they've been trying to think of ways. We have another story coming up, how they're cutting off the water to Idaho farmers. They're kicking Dutch farmers off their farm. They're trying to get rid of farmers because they want us to all eat bugs. And he's saying that this is another way they're going to get rid of all the food. This is a threat to our food supply. Is this a way they could move us into eating bugs? Hey, after Russiagate, after the Ukraine war, after COVID, there is no lie that they won't tell. And everything they said was a conspiracy theory just turned out to be a spoiler alert. They said he was a conspiracy theorist. They still say that. I bet you if you go to his Wikipedia page, I bet you any money. Somebody in the chat, go.
Of all of this perfunctory testing and let the animals get through it.
He's saying, don't test the animals for bird flu. Let them get through it. Let them have bird flu and get through it. Right now, bird flu isn't infectious to humans. According to Redfield, that you have to do all this manipulation of the virus. 5 different things, enzymes have to happen and for it to become infectious to humans that you could do in a few months in a lab, which I guess they're doing. And no one's screaming about this. You know why no one's screaming about it? I'm screaming about it. People at RFK Jr.'s Children's Defense Fund are screaming about it. You know who's not? The people who are funded by Big Pharma. New York Times, Washington Post, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all the people funded by Big Pharma. Nobody's screaming about it.
They'll get through this fine. We need an investigation to the gain-of-function research. It probably is being spread around by mallard ducks. I mean, it's in that duck population. It even spread to a dolphin off the coast of Florida. So I can tell you, it's in migratory.
Sure. So let me ask you this. I mean, obviously, though, they're rolling it out now for a power grab. It doesn't really affect humans. It's a bunch of hysteria. Knowing the bad guys trying to cover up the last evil thing they did with COVID, they need a new story to cover it up. We talked about this years ago. I disagree if you think I'm wrong, but then if you're in the enemy's brain, what do you think they're going to pull next?
They want mass vaccination, Alex. They want mass vaccination. We know that CSL, a company, Sequarius, has the Audience vaccine. It's an antigen-based vaccine. They developed it with BARDA, a research unit of the military. FDA cleared it in 2021 with no human data. Now they have pre-purchased enough vaccines for the entire country. Right after this antigen-based vaccine, Alex, they have a self-replicating messenger RNA vaccine. CEPI, the international organization with the Koreans, they have a self-replicating messenger RNA vaccine. I think the end game for the bad guys is mass vaccination.
No, I'm a comedian. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a scientist. But that guy is. And he's one of the leading guys in his field. And he got COVID right. So who are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to Redfield, who will admit to you that they're creating this virus in a lab. And then he will talk to you in such dulcet tones that about 25 to 50% of the people get this mortality. So do you think that he's telling the truth, that this power grab, that this is the end game is mass vaccination? I guess I'll have to check in to see what the FDA and the CDC say about this. Because that's who would know best, right? The FDA and the CDC. I mean, it's not like we've caught the heads of the FDA and the CDC lying at every turn. It's not like there's a revolving door between Big Pharma and the FDA and the CDC. I mean, why wouldn't you trust the FDA and the CDC? So during COVID, you were lied to about masks. You were lied to about where the virus came from. You were lied to about gain of function. You were lied to about herd immunity, natural immunity, transmission, contraction. You were lied to about the fatality rate of the virus. You were lied to about the seriousness, about who it affected. You were lied to about lockdowns. You were lied to about 6-foot distancing. There wasn't a thing you weren't lied to about. So this is a test. This bird flu is a test to see if we've learned anything over the last 4 years. Hey, come see us on tour. I'll be in Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.